Hi, my name is Annika Goldman, and I am a second-year student in clinical psychology here at Miami University in their PhD program. So today I'm going to be talking about how you as an undergrad can be most prepared and successful to be competitive for graduate programs in psychology. My first tip is to join a research lab as an undergraduate. This gives you invaluable hands-on skills on how to collect research, analyze data, work with participants, generate research questions, all of that. Sometimes the day-to-day could be a bit boring, but you're really learning skills on how research works and what day-to-day life is like in a research lab. It's also really important for narrowing down your research interests, which is going to be particularly crucial when applying to grad school. Many PhD programs in particular, you apply directly to a research mentor, and a lot of times it's competitive. These research mentors only get one student they can take. So if your research interests match really well with the mentor you're applying to, it's going to definitely increase your chances of being accepted. So even if as an undergraduate you're working in a lab that isn't perfectly aligned with your research interests, that's okay, because there's lots of transferable skills you can learn, and just being exposed to that shows future mentors that you have a lot of those basic skills necessary to be a great graduate student. Another great thing about working in a research lab as an undergrad is that you get to build a connection with a faculty member in a research setting. So if you do a great job, if you're reliable, dependable, curious, then chances are that faculty member can write you a great letter of recommendation for grad school. So those letter of recommendations are very necessary and can be very awkward to get if you don't form those relationships in areas outside of maybe a big lecture hall, for instance. So if you do join a research lab, make sure to stand out, contribute, show your ability to work independently, and always make sure you're on time to run participants. You might also have the opportunity in these labs to work on an undergraduate senior thesis, and I did one myself. It didn't always go perfectly or smoothly, but it was an incredible learning opportunity to really develop your own questions and take charge of your own project. And that's going to show to future mentors and to programs that you are a capable, independent worker. So, besides joining a research program a research lab in undergrad, you can get involved in clinical work. So I put the air quotes because you can't actually do, licensed therapy that a therapist or psychologist can do when you're an undergraduate. But you can work with populations that are of interest to you and work with people discussing mental health or volunteering or offering other services that show that you're compassionate, patient, sensitive, and caring. These are all really important qualities that schools want to see when you're applying specifically to work in a clinical setting, like a master's in mental health counseling program or a clinical psychology program or a counseling psychology PhD program. In your application, you want to show that you have committed to working with people and that you're good at it. So, for example, when I was an undergrad, then I worked at an Alzheimer's daycare center doing some different art activities and educational activities with the seniors that lived there and who came in every day. So this showed that I had, patience and a strong interest in working with this population in graduate school. I also was able to volunteer in a hospital in the inpatient unit in undergrad, doing different activities with these individuals. So not giving therapy, but still working, engaging, and learning from a population of people that I intend to work with in the future. You can also work on a crisis suicide hotline. A lot of those hotlines don't require any sort of licensure, but do have extensive training programs. And that's a great way to dip your toe in a little bit of therapy work without having to go to grad school. So it's also just a fascinating experience. I did it myself, and it shows a lot of competence in clinical work for future graduate programs. Last but not least, I think it's very important for students to excel in classes, specifically psychology classes. So this means getting to know your professors as well. That could be a future letter of recommendation, which is very important for getting into grad school. It also shows that you have the basic knowledge needed to have that foundation to be a good grad student. It demonstrates in understanding of different types of disorders, different types of statistical methods that, truth be told, you definitely need in graduate school. So make sure to do your best to get good grades, get a good GPA, and really absorb what you're learning in your current psychology classes. So lucky you all for being Miami students. We have a great program here. And thank you for listening. Good luck getting into these programs. They can be challenging, but my final tip is to talk to some of us grad students who have been through it before. Talk to different people in your lab, older students in your lab, about the process they've gone through, and do your research on different programs and different ways to be successful. So good luck, everybody.